Today is Monday, April 28th, and this is the beginning of an interview with Mr. Dominik Tringali at Capital Senior Center. Mr. Tringali is 79 years old, having been born on June 6, 1923. My name is Cheryl Seminar, and I'll be the interviewer. Mr. Tringali is a member of Capital Senior Center. Mr. Tringali, could you state what war and branch of service you served in?
World War II, Army, 40th Infantry Division, 164th Field Artillery Battalion.
You did it all. Tell me what you did before you joined the military.
I worked with my father. He had an ironwork shop in New York City.
And how old were you when did you enlist or were you drafted?
I was drafted.
You were drafted. What did you think about when you got your draft notice?
I was ready to go.
You were ready to go. Did you have any siblings that were in the military?
Not then.
Not then? Did they join afterwards?
I have two brothers who later went in.
Mm-hmm.
Not in that war, but one in the Korean War, and subsequently, after the war was over, another one.
Mm-hmm.
I got the Army.
And where did you do your basic training?
Fort Bragg, North Carolina.
And then you shipped off to where?
Directly to overseas, no furlough or anything.
They just sent you right off?
Right, straight over.
Did you at least get a chance to call home first?
I may have called, but we thought we were going to be shipped somewhere in the States and then given a furlough, but instead we went straight to Pittsburgh, California from Fort Bragg and to Hawaii.
To Hawaii. And then where else did you serve after that?
Well, and from Hawaii we did some training and we were shipped to Guadalcanal. And there was cleaning up to do, but not much. It had been very well by that time passed by.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were shipped to New Britain, where we trained some more. And then we invaded the Philippines, Lingayen Gulf. I was at the invasion of Lingayen Gulf, where we saw our first action, actually.
Mm-hmm. What were your thoughts when you finally saw action? Is it what you expected? Was it?
It never is. During basic training, you go through training exercises where they shoot at you and you know they're not going to try to hit you. But the first time you hear a shot fired in anger and you hear bullets coming towards you, you start thinking, he's trying to actually hit me. Someone out there is trying to hit me, really. And it's a different feeling entirely.
Mm-hmm. Where'd you go after that?
We did all of our fighting in the Philippines. We invaded Luzon, took that, and then we went to Mindanao and invaded there, and ended up in Leyte. That was supposed to have been pacified, but there was still a lot of fighting going on. And the war was over then, and our unit went to Korea,
Mm-hmm.
occupy Korea. And our main duty there was to protect the Japanese. We rounded up all the Japanese military and civilian, put them in various camps, and had to protect them from the Koreans.
Really?
They would have torn them apart.
Wow. What specifically did you do?
I was a forward observer, artillery forward observer with the infantry. 40th Infantry Division, and that made up a regimental combat team. That was the 108th Regimental Combat Team. And we were with the infantry. I was with the infantry at the front and direct the fire, artillery fire.
So you were right up front.
Yes, but we traded off. Well, we had people back at the artillery base, and we weren't constantly with the troops. We traded back and forth.
Wow. What was it like when you finally found out you were going home?
Oh, great.
Did you go directly home, or did you have to come back to the States for a while first?
That's home, the States.
Right, but did you go like to California for a while and have
Well,
to serve?
they shipped us to California and then transcontinental railroad back to Fort Dix, New Jersey, and then I was discharged.
It must have been a long train trip on the way home.
Yes.
What's the first
Long
thing?
train trip out there also. Trains then were very primitive, you know, they weren't like they are now.
Mm-hmm. What's the first thing you did when you got home?
Well, partied. Then took up a civilian routine. Then went back to work with my father
Mm-hmm.
at our shop and decided to go to college.
What did you do in college?
Mechanical engineering. Graduated from Polytechnic Institute in Brooklyn.
What was the hardest part about serving in the military then?
The boredom. It's practically always boredom,
Mm-hmm.
interspersed with a lot of terror.
One extreme to the other.
Right.
What do you think? Did you learn anything in the military that helped you later in life?
Yeah, during all the basic training, not basic training, but training overseas. When I was in Hawaii, I enrolled in a correspondence course at the University of Hawaii, and took a course in trigonometry.
Wow.
And the correspondence course, which I did during my off hours in training when I was in Hawaii and in New Britain and Guadalcanal, where we were basically just training. And it was surprisingly good, very, very good. It helped me a lot when I was in college.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, what has stayed with you all these years from your experiences?
Oh, I'd say battlefield sights, sounds. I remember seeing my first dead bodies, Japanese who had been caught by flamethrowers. We were marching towards the front and came across what seemed to me at the time, first seemed to me to be a bombed out storefront or something, but I saw some burnt, what appeared to be mannequins, all different grotesque poses. Getting close to it, they started moving, and there were maggots in the bodies that were. When someone's hit with a flamethrower, he just more or less freezes right in the position that he's hit, and it was pretty bad. And of course, we got to the front there, and you spend days in the midst of bodies and parts of bodies all around you, and you have to eat while brushing flies away from, you know, where they've been. It's pretty bad. It's no fun, I'll tell you.
Have you been back to any of those places?
No.
Do you still see or keep in touch with anybody you served with?
Yeah. By this time, just one person, one buddy I had back then.
What do you think is the role the military plays in our country today?
Vital.
Do you think the experiences that our young people today are having are the same as the ones you've had, or?
I think it's the same, man. Of course, the training's different, and social contexts are different. But on the whole, I think it's useful to be in the military. It's a useful experience. Of course, it depends on the personality, really. You have to have the motivation. Not how important it is.
How hard was the discipline? Were you a disciplined person before you joined the military?
Oh, I don't know if any of that rubbed off very much, but in the Army you have to have discipline and you have to have the hierarchy of authority, and it's necessary. Not pleasant, but it's necessary. If you don't have that, you have a mob.
Mm-hmm. Were you married while you were in the
No.
military?
No, I married relatively late in life.
Is there anything else you want to share with us today? Okay, that was it.
Okay?
Thank you.
All right.